As I get older, man, I realize that majority of people are quote unquote asleep, right? And I'm not saying that in a bad way. It's definitely understandable. And if you find yourself to be one of those guys, I'm not saying you don't need to be that. If you're having a good time, if you're happy, that's all that matters, bro. Live your life. But if you're here, man, it might be that you kind of feel like something's wrong and you're looking forward to that next step, right? How do you fix your inside? Because, the rest of the world will kind of reflect that in a sense. And I just want to share some things that I find important if you want to reach that next step. And I'm not perfect all the time. Sometimes the depths can be a little lower, but the highs can be higher. And I just want to share some things where, so one, I would stop listening to music with lyrics. I think that gets in your brain, like other people's ideas get in your brain through melody and whatnot. And at least nowadays, man, the music, those lyrics are crazy, man. I don't think it's any, if you're having fun with it, like I said, if you're having fun with it, enjoy your life. But I would stop listening to music with lyrics. So if you want music, I would just put on like some classical but instrumental. I enjoy music like some death metal because there's lyrics, like there's a voice there, but it's not like the forefront. It's just kind of a vibe to it as well. So I find myself listening to that because I like the energy. It does wake me up. So I enjoy that. I would also say you got to start reading instead of scrolling, 100%. And no, not even reading on your phone. Like, don't read Reddit, even though there can be, depending on where you go. There are some decent subreddits with good information, but majority of the time, right, what's getting pushed out to the front pages, it's a lot of times nonsense information. Not that there's not some fun things every now and again. Witcher 4 just got announced. Looks pretty cool. Or there was a tech demo, at least. I guess it was announced prior to that, but so there's some cool stuff. I'm not saying you got to like cut out everything, but it's like there's some certain things that if you don't do at all, you should probably start doing, because I feel like it's helped me a lot. I can enjoy not doing anything, as in like scrolling or like playing a game or filling my head up with other people's ideas. Actually, and I like thinking a lot. I like meditating a lot, and I don't know. I think that to be very healthy, like understanding yourself and whatnot. And reading, I feel like reading like nonfiction. So read nonfiction, like old, I don't know, like history in a sense, or like historical texts, religious texts, ideologies, philosophies. That's kind of what I mean. Where it's like it's not fiction. It's just like more ideas. It's to nurture your brain a little bit. Get those gears turning a little bit. I would highly recommend start doing some of that stuff for sure. Another one, man, definitely you gotta move your body a little bit, at least every day a little bit. You'd be surprised if you don't do any push-ups or sit-ups. If you just start doing those throughout the day, and maybe lift a little bit, just get some free weights. You don't have to be crazy, but if you do that like every day a little bit, like that'll make a big difference in your day-to-day life for sure. It gets out like any anxiety and any of that jazz. It gives you something to like do, but you don't necessarily have to focus on. And then you could like listen to like an audiobook is good. But even if you want to enjoy like a podcast, like knock yourself out, or if you want to listen to whatever music you want to listen to, like do whatever you want. But you should definitely start working out, start thinking for yourself. Stop consuming what they advertise as much as possible, even though there's an ad everywhere nowadays, right? And yeah, definitely got to do that. Definitely got to do that. And obviously this goes kind of without saying, but try not to eat too much garbage. I enjoy me some garbage food every now and again. Sometimes it can be a garbage week. Depends on, if I kind of feel particularly lazy and I just kind of want to use the oven instead of like actually making a meal. But I don't know. Most food you can whip up pretty fast, honestly. So I would definitely just like be more conscious of what you eat. Like don't eat like, I don't know. I don't think you should ever eat like Cheetos and stuff like that. Like stuff that comes in bags and boxes and candy. Yeah, cut all that stuff out for sure. And I don't know if that necessarily plays a part in like waking up, but it's like certain things that'll make you just feel better throughout your day and your life, and you'll gain more confidence with that stuff too. But I think a big one, man, is just stop consuming other people's thoughts. I think that's the biggest one. I'm just going off the cuff here, but I think that is by far the biggest one. Which is ironic, right? Because you're consuming my thoughts right now, so I appreciate you listening. But if you find yourself being someone who like scrolls and you're just always listening to other people's ideas, I think it's time to start coming up with your own, man. And start like actually like paying attention to how you think of things, like if you can dissect why you feel about a thing, right, and be honest with yourself, I'd be curious if you come to the conclusion that you actually thought of this, or did you hear it from someone and you're kind of regurgitating it. And I know that has like a bad connotation to it, but I think we all can be like that, and you can catch yourself where it's like, oh man, I'm actually just saying a thing that this guy said, and I've never been to the moon. It's like you realize that you're just kind of like, oh, that sounded right, instead of a thing where you started like kind of dissecting your own thoughts, if that makes sense, like coming up with your own conclusion on, I don't know, I guess ideologies or how you feel about things, like your own personal beliefs, quote unquote, on certain topics or feelings and all that jazz. I think that's super important, man. But I definitely get why people don't. I think people are afraid of being wrong or being an outsider and all that jazz, but I don't know. Don't you just feel like you're being herded at that point? Anyway, I feel like exploring thoughts is very important. It's very important. It's the only thing we can do. So yeah, I would just do some research. Not that you can't enjoy some fiction. I went and saw the new Captain America movie whenever that was out in like February. It was okay. Every now and again I like seeing a movie. I like seeing like that type of stuff. So I'm not, being a holier than thou guy. I'm just saying, if you stumbled across this and you feel a little lost, I think a lot of us do, I would just cut out a lot of the noise of what's going on right now. At least like popular stuff. Like I'm sure you can find some guys that are like chill, that have a good vibe that you could listen to if you need like something. Like sometimes I like will throw on a pod when I'm driving, and like sometimes I'm not necessarily listening to it, but it's just a thing going on, So I'm not saying I have all the answers. I'm just saying if you stumbled across this, and I don't know, I guess take it as a sign, I guess. I don't know. And just find out who you are in a way and be brutally honest with yourself. You know what I mean? I feel like it's important. And then, sometimes it's actually really nice, because I know people that it's like, bro, I'll leave the room, or like, let's say we're at dinner and I'll be like, oh, I'm going to get up and go to the bathroom, and I'll come back and they're on their phone. I'm like, I wasn't gone that long. Like, it's just surprising to me that people can't sit alone like with themselves that much. And it's like, man, some of my favorite things to do is like before bed meditating, waking up meditating, unless I woke up a little late and I gotta get going. Or like sitting in the backyard and just like meditating, sitting on my patio. Depends on what place I'm at. I'm thinking throughout my life of different, places I've lived. And just like no phone around and just kind of just thinking, exploring thoughts. And I don't know, maybe that's considered kind of crazy, but I don't think so. I think if you consider that crazy, you just want me to consume your advertisements. You know what I mean? So it's fun, man. It's fun to be content alone. Loneliness still exists sometimes, and honestly, you might feel more lonely because you realize a lot of people don't act this way. A lot of times they're kind of just saying these key words that they hear over and over again. It's actually super interesting once you kind of realize that's what a lot of people are doing. Ah, man, it starts to get into question like, oh man, this might be a simulation, bro. And maybe it's not a simulation in the sense of like a computer program, but something very similar. It's a good metaphor for it, or it is that, I don't know. But I know some of you boys know what I'm talking about. My real boys. But thanks for listening, man. I just wanted to share some thoughts on that. Make sure to do something for yourself today. Make sure to do something for someone else today. And regardless, boys, this world will be weird, but we got this, all right? Take care.